So you're there making this movie eventually alongside all these other terrific actors. Just to remind people, John Goodman, John Turturro, Steve Buscemi, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Sam Elliott, Julianne Moore. It's like an unbelievable cast.
And David Huddleston, who just passed away, who was the big Lebowski.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the making of this, did you feel like there was anything unusually special about this, or was it only when you sort of saw the reactions? Because it wasn't even that well received when it initially came out.
It was so we had a ball. It was so fun, and my buddy T-Bone Burnett did all the music, so he was around a lot.
Yeah.
We met on Heaven's Gate. Chris Christopherson brought a bunch of his music buddies with him, and T-Bone's one of those guys. So T-Bone was on there. And we had a ball shooting the movie, and then when it came out, I thought it was going to be funny, and then when it kind of didn't do well, I was surprised. That's what was surprising. And then it had to, got to be more popular in Europe, and then splashed back again, and then all these festivals.
I was going to say, at this point, can you believe there's now an annual Lebowski Fest? There's actually a Dudist religion, which has quite a few adherents.
And my dear friend of mine, Bernie Glassman, is a Zen master, Jewish Zen master. It's true, that's what he is. And he's the real thing, man. Bern, out of Mezumi. Anyway, he comes up, we're at a party, and he says, you realize in many Buddhist circles, the dude is considered a Zen master. I say, what are you talking about, man? He says, well, who wrote and directed this? The Coen brothers. The Coen brothers. And he says the movie is just chock filled with all of these koans that are modern day versions of the old koans. And Bernie and his organization, the Zen Peacemakers, is all about bringing Buddhism into modern times. So Bernie says, let's write a book. I said, what are you talking about? He says, yeah, let's write a book about all the koans that are in the thing. So we went up to Montana and did that and had a wonderful time. I said, well, what do you mean the koans? He says, well, like the dude abides. That's very, that's right up, Buddhist thing. He says, shut the fuck up, Donnie. That's it.
Which people are saying more and more these days.
And I think both of our favorites is, well, that's just like your opinion, man. That's a big one. That's
a great one. And what about this rug? What do you feel about this rug?
The rug ties the room together. All these things. So we wrote this book called The Dude and the Zen Master. One of our little things I remember talking about in the book that Bernie liked was, bowling was, so much in the dude's life, and so the brothers hired a bowling master, he's like a champion bowling guy, to teach me, John, and Steve Buscemi how to bowl. And so they show up, and, there's the bowling master, and he has his assistant, who's also an expert bowler there with him. And so I'm saying, I'm talking to the bowling master. I said, well, how do you think the dude approaches, the bowling thing? Do you think it's like, Art Carney, kind of, Norton, is he kind of like, got all these little things before he throws the ball, And the guy's assistant, the master's assistant, goes, like, I said, what's going on? And he goes, nothing. He can't stop laughing. And the master's looking weird, I said, come on, guys, tell you that. And the master says, all right, you can tell him. And he says, no, you tell him. The master says, he says, bowling, it's kind of like, Zen in the art of archery, it's not like aiming and trying to hit the thing. You've got to become one with the target and all this stuff. And to get into that right state of mind takes certain, or so I thought, certain things. So he said he would go through many, many little, special little things that he'd have to do to get his body in the right moment. And it would be just like the honeymooners. You know, the guys on the bench would say, you know, after about 10 minutes in a big tournament, he would say, throw the ball! Yeah. So I said to him, so what happened? He says, well, I had to go to a psychiatrist for a few years, you know, and I finally figured it out. I said, so what do? You know, he says, I just throw the fucking ball. No, that's, you know, nice lesson.
That's fantastic.